Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with a high-end police chase. Choppers are up in the sky in search of a suspect. The camera cuts to the protagonist, Ray, who is standing on the edge of a roof. As the police helicopter spotlights him, the FBI arrives on the scene as well. One of the policemen asks him to stop, now that it is finished, but Ray claims it wasn't supposed to be this way. With that, he turns around, and dashes over the cliff, hundreds of feet below, into the water. Switching back many years, Ray is trekking through the woods with his wife and daughter. They go through the beautiful forest, and set up camp along a river, where their daughter Rachel sleeps in her mother's arms and Ray looks tenderly at his wife, Amanda. As their colorful memories are being created, a tragic turn occurs. Amanda is abruptly diagnosed with cancer again, and admitted to the hospital. The doctor recommends a medication called Infirmum, but the family is unable to pay for it. As time passes, everyone celebrates Rachel's birthday, and Amanda gives her a teddy bear named Paloma. Ray and Rachel are seen practicing in the boxing ring, where she skillfully tackles her father. At the hospital, the doctor informs them the FDA is on the verge of approving a new medication called Sparrow. It has the same generic effects as Infirmum, but is less expensive. Ray shares Rachel's joy at the excellent news. Then it turns out the new medication hasn't yet arrived. When they inquire, the doctor informs them it has been withdrawn from the market. The Infirmum company, Bioprime, has paid to postpone the medication release indefinitely. An interview with the Bioprime CEO airs on TV. He debates with the politician over the high cost of cancer treatment. Ray contacts the program, and addresses the CEO, Simon Keeley, stating his wife is in danger owing to his business approach, and Ray threatens to kill him if Amanda dies. Following that, Ray sits beside Amanda. Rachel begins to hum a melody to her, but it is ineffective. Ray exits the room, walks crazily through the corridors, and ends up crying violently, as Amanda's soul disappears. 6 months later, we see him boxing in the gym again, his heart still pounding. He goes home, where the bills are waiting for him. Rachel tells Ray to disregard it, and as they tease each other, Ray receives a call from Martin Bennett, a vice journalist. He claims that he is going up against Bioprime and other major bribery players, and Amanda's death will help him with this. He requests Ray meet him in 20 minutes. Ray tells Rachel to wait inside, and heads to the metro, where Martin summons him to join. Rachel appears to be following him, and enters the cabin as well. They get out at the next stop, and go around the station, where Ray finally meets Martin. Martin tells him about the bribes, and offshore accounts that Simon Keeley holds, and with Ray's narrative and aid, it will be possible to throw him and other prominent people behind bars for good. Ray requests a minute to consider his options, as Rachel attempts to listen to the dialogue. As they converse, a man arrives out of nowhere, stabs Martin in the chest, and murders him. Following that, the fight moves to Ray. The man strikes him repeatedly, while Rachel looks on in terror. Ray puts a few blows on him, and slams him through the window, but the guy hits back. Rachel jumps in as well, but the hitman simply throws her out the door, as the train comes to a halt. Ray rises up, strikes the hitman, and rushes outside to check on Rachel, but he is attacked again, and stabbed on the side. He pushes Ray out the window as the train departs. As he lies on the platform, his gaze meets Rachel's, and they both fade out. Rachel is seen boxing violently in the ring 2 years later. She fights with all her strength, and almost chokes the guy, even as he is tapping. Her lack of self-control is obvious. Later, we see Diana Morgan, a politician working with Simon Keeley and Bioprime chairman Vinod Shah, to draft a bipartisan law and agreement. Rachel awakens and speaks with Ray about Amanda. He walks to the side of the room, where an entire study project is posted on the wall, his gaze fixed on the UNICEF charity auction, where Simon Keeley is the keynote speaker. That night, as honorable guests approach the auction, Ray also parks his car on a side. He comes in through the back door, and steals a caterer's uniform. Meanwhile, Simon is invited to the stage for a speech, and Ray puts an out-of-order card in the men's room. He enters the main hall just as Simon finishes his speech. He notices Simon seated at a table, and quickly picks up a scotch glass, drops it on him, and goes away. Simon is immediately irritated, and he leads his guards to the men's room, where the lookout guard is sprayed, and killed by a fire extinguisher. Ray shatters the door, and thrusts a knife into Simon's throat. He informs him that he was forewarned of Amanda's death, and inquires about the targeted assassination of Martin Bennett. Simon tries to avoid answering the question, but when threatened, he gives him the name Vinod Shah. While they're conversing, Simon's guard attacks Ray, and they fight. He defeats both of them, and orders Simon to shoot his own guard. After that, Both of them struggle to get the gun, but Ray eventually kills Simon, with a plastic bag around his face. Later, he goes home, and instructs Rachel to pack everything, informing he had no choice but to kill them. The FBI interrogates the guard at the crime scene, who informs them about the overheard conversation, concerning a woman and the death threat. Sarah Meeker, the agent, orders a withdrawal on all of Simon Keeley's death threats. Meanwhile, Ray and Rachel drive along the cold back roads, headed to Toronto, while the agents finally obtain a match, and learn about Ray Cooper, who delivered Simon Keeley a death threat on the live show. They also discover Ray's vehicle fleeing the crime scene. Sarah immediately requests a tracker on Ray's vehicle, who crosses the toll booth, and his information is sent to 2 mercenaries. Ray and Rachel arrive at a motel, and while he pulls his belongings from his car, he sends his daughter upstairs. Instead of going to the room, Rachel contacts Sarah from a public phone, and tells her everything. Her father is completely innocent, and there was an error. Sarah gives her personal phone number, and instructs Rachel to contact her via burner phone. Rachel cuts the phone off, just as she asks for her location. Ray enters the hall, and hangs a jingle belt on the front door. He enters the room, where Rachel is still angry with him for being so harsh. Shifting to the soldiers entering the motel, the bell jingles as they pass through the main door, and Ray awakens. He sneaks out of the hall with Rachel, and waits. Finally, the gunman appears around the corner, and Ray fights him, as they tumble down the steps. He eventually chokes the mercenary and goes on to battle the other one. He grabs an axe and flees to the bedroom, where the soldier follows him. Inside, Ray hides in the cabinet, and as the mercenary approaches, he assaults him, causing them both to fall out the window, and crash into a car. Ray fights him, and eventually shoots him with his own gun. He glances up to see Rachel looking at him in bewilderment, and swiftly gets to his feet, grabs the pistol with extra magazines, and flees. Back at their flat, the FBI breaks in, and discovers all of the evidence linking Ray to the crime. Sarah receives a call regarding the double homicide, and Ray's vehicle fleeing the motel. We see Rachel is furious with Ray, but he still attempts to make amends. Moving on to an underground hitman, who is staring at a van. The auto lot owner greets him, but the hitman murders him, snatches a shotgun, and steals the van. Meanwhile, Ray travels on the snowy roads, but because of the risk, they go off-road. He gets out of the car, and heads outside to check the mercenaries' phones. He discovers it full of Vinod Shah's calls, and he learns that Shah has just purchased a home outside of Pittsburgh. Later, we witness him cutting a tree beside a bridge, and erecting a barrier to close the tunnel. He goes into the woods to practice his gunfire, but it turns out he's a newbie. Rachel contacts Sarah, and informs her Ray is out of control. Sarah assures her that she is the one in control. Ray and Rachel later argue, because she insists on accompanying him on the assignment. He finally caves, and agrees to accompany her. Meanwhile, we see the hitman put together bombs for the shotgun. He goes outside and shoots, to find them extremely explosive. Ray and Rachel are waiting outside Shah's mansion, as night falls. The hitman's van passes them just then, and Shah is seen exiting the house. Ray continues to drive, while these SUVs follow him, and one of them flattens its tire as Ray dumps iron screws on the road. One car is down, and the rest continue. Ray comes to a halt at the tunnel, to move the barrier, parking the car in the dark. Shah's cars make their way through the tunnel, but they discover it is obstructed by a tree. Shah urges them to retreat, but the rear SUV is smashed by a massive bulldozer. Ray goes outside, while the Shah's SUV chases after him, but gets trapped by the tree. The hitman approaches from the other side of the bridge, and shoots the immobilized SUV. Shah flees as the hitman sets fire to the car. Ray, on the other hand, tells Rachel to stay in the car, spars with Shah, and investigates the major conspirator. Shah chuckles and says nothing to him, and gets shot by the hitman. Ray flees the scene as the hitman pursues them, bursting the car's rear tire in the process. They get out of the car, and walk through the woods, until they reach a tow truck station, where they take it and drive away. Rachel notices the van parked outside a cafe as she walks by. They park the truck across the street, and go inside, where Ray is sitting next to the hitman, talking to him. After some debate, he learns that the politician Diana Morgan paid him, to take out all the competitors, and she is the main perpetrator behind everything. As they leave, the hitman mentions Rachel's address, and says that he'll see her soon. They leave in the tow truck the next morning, as Sarah considers Rachel's condition. Suddenly, they receive a report of a stolen tow truck, and Sarah asks that the cameras be monitored. Later at night, they learn that the tow truck had been seen approaching the city. The entire police force joins the chase, and follows the truck, as it swings through the streets to avoid a traffic bottleneck at the bridge. Ray abandons it and flees on foot, while the FBI pursues him. He enters the stadium, and the beginning sequence is seen, with the agents following him to the edge of the roof. Ray stands there, and Sarah motions for him to leave. Suddenly, the biggest twist hits us. Ray actually died on the train, and Rachel was the one who did everything all along. She was the one who killed Simon, fought the mercenaries, captured Shaw, spoke with the hitman, and is now here. Rachel dives into the ocean, while Sarah tries to stop her. She is rescued by the troops, and transported to an ambulance, but she awakens and assaults the agents. The ambulance eventually crashes, and she escapes, lying down on a bench, where Ray approaches, and consoles her. Later, she goes to Diana's speech and inspects her, when the hitman arrives. Diana heads to Congress Hall, and Rachel manages to slip in as well. While she's in there, memories of Ray flood her thoughts as she pulls out his jacket, and puts it on, proceeding to Diana's office. The hitman arrives and attacks her as she enters. She is thrown outdoors, while the hitman searches the hall for her. When they finally meet, they engage in a brutal fight. The hitman drags her down, and attempts to drown her in the fountain, but just as she's about to pass out, Ray's voice resonates in her head, urging her to remain strong. He calls her his sweet girl, and she overcomes the hitman, and stabs him many times, till his blood fills the fountain in absolute rage. She returns to Diana's office, threatens her, and manages to get her to divulge every bribe and plot she devised with Bioprime. Rachel then leaves, instead of killing her, and it turns out she recorded everything on her phone. Diana is finally apprehended for her devious actions, once the FBI receives the confession recording. Rachel achieves complete mental peace. She obtains a fake passport, exchanges her money for crypto, and finally safely flies away to another city, to an uncertain future. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.